Hey, happy Wednesday to you. I'm glad you're here back with us. Let's jump right into the Word. We're in John chapter 13 today, and I thought there's a beautiful story in here that really helps us deal with what we're going on right now, what's happening to us. Oftentimes when bad things happen or when there's certain things in life that are pitted against us, we can ask God, where are you? We can ask, God, do you even care what's going on? Why aren't you doing anything? Things like that. But this story right here in John chapter 13 actually shows us the love and the care that Jesus has for us and he continues to have for us. It talks about how Jesus, at the Last Supper right beforehand, he decides to wash the feet of the disciples. He washes the feet of all the disciples, even though he knew one would betray him. He says here in verse 14, I assure you, a slave is not greater than his master, and a messenger is no greater than the one who sent him. And he says here that even though he was a teacher, even though they called him Lord, that he would stoop down and wash the feet of those that he loves and those that were going to even betray him. I mean, even Peter's feet gets washed, and later on in the chapter, we see that he betrays Jesus 3 times, right? And Jesus calls him out in this chapter saying, you will betray me 3 times. So even in knowing all of this, he says, you know what, I still love you and I still care for you. And that's super important during these times. We always ask, just like the psalmist, refuge failed me, no man cared for my soul. And in Luke chapter 10, verse 40, we see that Martha is even, Lord, do you not care? What she was doing in the kitchen. It's sometimes we get in that mindset, when we're in these ruts, when we're in these difficult seasons of life. Lord, do you not care? But he cares for us. He cares for us so much. Like in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7, it says, he cares for you. This is the word of God. We're confident that God cares for us because he sent his only son to die so that we may live with him in eternal life. It's just a wonderful showing of how much he cares for us, but he puts a charge to us as well. He says this back in John chapter 13. He says, John chapter 13, verse 34, I give you a new command, love one another just as I have loved you. You must also love one another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another. So not only does he show us, I care for you deeply, even though I am your Lord, I care for you deeply, but also, since you know the love that you've received from me, spread it to others. And so during this time, we know he cares for us. We can have confidence in that. But we also know that we are charged. We are charged with the message to spread the gospel, but also to love on those that we might not see as lovable, but anybody and everybody we love on because they were made in the image of God. Thanks for joining us today. Remember to love God and love people, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.